This podcast setup has made me a millionaire. Podcasting is one of the biggest opportunities for creators and small business owners. And if you are in that journey, this is a full-on masterclass. That one video made me $10,000. So when you understand how to package the content, title, thumbnail, first 30 seconds, that's how YouTube pushes your content to other people.
My brother, what up?
Did you get in?
Yeah, I'm in Vegas now.
I'm doing an episode called Podcast Explain.
And I really need to know the sauce on how you're getting these views.
I just need to know the game, man.
I'm having the greatest month on my podcast, which, so you're coming at a good time.
When you say greatest month on your podcast, what do you mean?
$16,000 in Google ads. And that's not to mention like all the business that's being generated from the podcast. So
I'll be there in a second.
all right. He in here.
My brother.
702.
What up? How you feeling?
What's up? Welcome to the video
Oh,
department.
man. I literally just got off the plane, bro. And I was so excited. I'm like, I need to go see the King of Lighting. That's what yours looks, it looks beautiful all the time.
Thank you.
I want to understand this stuff, but I need to go to this YouTube real quick.
Yeah.
So you were saying you're having the biggest month on YouTube?
Right. So I leverage YouTube for my podcast. Like I play the YouTube game with my podcast.
You leverage YouTube for your podcast as opposed to what?
As opposed to just audio, Apple or Spotify and trying to grow it internally. YouTube is the biggest way I grow the audience and the awareness of the podcast I have. Because YouTube is it's a powerful platform.
Yeah.
People discover you on YouTube.
Yeah.
Other people who don't understand the YouTube game, they're probably growing their podcast with like the short clips on TikTok and Instagram. But because I know YouTube, it's been crazy.
So, all right, well, some people have good content, right? And they put it on YouTube and it doesn't grow. When you say you know YouTube, is your content better than everybody else's, or you understand something we don't?
My content isn't necessarily better inherently. My content is better packaged though. I like to say YouTube isn't a video platform, it's a packaging platform. So when you understand how to package the content, title, thumbnail, first 30 seconds, that's how YouTube pushes your content to other people.
Can you show me what you're talking about? I need to get in your business for a second.
So,
Let me get a chair. I need to pull up a chair.
So I have my, this is the YouTube analytics that are pulled up right now.
Yeah.
But let's just, for instance, take this video that's really taking off. We uploaded about 3 weeks ago or 2.5 weeks ago.
That one video made you $10,000.
That one video made me $10,000. And most people are paying to get awareness. But what's powerful about this number is that I'm being paid for my awareness.
You're being paid to get awareness.
Yeah, and so not only is Google paying me to find customers, it's which is marketing, it's also building my brand. And so I don't have to have sales breath in my content because it's, not to mention there's a brand deal on this video. I signed an $80,000 brand deal for an ad read. I do an ad read in there. I sponsor my own content with my challenge. So as far as the money plan on this video, it's multiple streams. But here's something I want to bring up. This is why I love podcasting, by the way. This is why I love long form. And then I'll get into why I believe this video is taking off.
Okay.
Which, bro, this video was not edited. This is what I mean.
Really?
Is when you understand packaging, you don't have to rely on fancy editing. So I'll break that down in a sec. But this is my favorite stat on YouTube though. So cool, 10,000.
Watch time hours.
Yeah, watch time hours. So that's 85,000 hours of watch time. So I'm just gonna do 85,000 on my phone. So that's watch hours divided by 24. I think I'm doing this right. So that's 3,000 days. 3,500 days of time spent on my brand with this video. But if I divide that by 365, so this is 9.7 years of time spent on my brand with one video.
Wow. All right, so let's go into the packaging.
Okay, let's go into the packaging. So Great. So the first part of packaging is the title. So I'll literally just go into the details. So this video is entitled How to Become a Millionaire in 2025 Part-Time. So something I like doing and something that works really well on YouTube is I like a very clear title that could read like an article headline. So if I were to have gone on Google and I type in how to become a millionaire, and this is the research phase of content, you should have an idea of what your title is going to be before you even shoot your videos, which is...
You should have an idea what the video is going to be about before you shoot the video, instead of shooting the video then coming up with a cool title.
Exactly. You want that clarity up front. So here, people go to college to learn how to write headlines. Like they pay hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
So why come up with YouTube titles but yourself? So what I like to encourage people is to take these titles that Google's already serving you and make it your video.
So you went on Google and I saw some cool headlines. The first thing that came up was Forbes. Here's how to realistically become a millionaire.
Yep.
And if I saw that on YouTube, I would click that.
Yeah.
Because there's a science that we all don't understand, but we know somebody knows the science.
Yeah, and my thing is, there's words like realistically is the reason why you would click on this video. It's more this like you're insinuating that it's doable for you. You know. Now this is kind of a new thing that I'm teaching when it comes to YouTube strategy. Is once you have your like title, there's something powerful about putting something in parentheses that's like a whisper. So it's and sometimes you're whispering.
This is so good, bro.
Sometimes you're whispering the answer. So in this case, it's how to become a millionaire in 2025, which 2025 is creating a distinction that this is updated information. But then the part-time is like, wait, what? So I'll put another one. Which some people will be like, no, bro, you had Myron on your podcast. Okay, let me put somebody that no one knows. I'll put, I had this girl, her name is Cassandra Smith, who does like how to, Okay. Genius way to monetize your content. And then in parentheses, an online community. So I'm like, I'm giving the answer in the title.
Dang.
And then, so that's title.
Yeah.
You have any questions about that?
No, it's just, because I interviewed her too, and I don't think we got 150,000 views.
Here's what I love, bro.
And we did a fire interview.
No, dude, here's I'm gonna show you the power of packaging, not to dog my homie Ryan Pineda.
Yeah.
Okay, so we both interviewed Russell Brunson in the same day. Okay, so I'm gonna show you right now the power of packaging.
Yeah.
Okay, and it doesn't matter your audience size. If you understand this skill, you can leverage it. So I'm gonna go Ryan. Shout out to Ryan, love you, Ryan. I'm
gonna go pull up on Ryan while I'm out here.
Yeah, no, his studio's tight. He actually had me come in and help a little bit, but that's besides me. Okay, so Ryan, who has over 400,000 subscribers, posted this conversation with Russell that maxed out pretty much at 18,000 views 11 months ago. So that's way bigger audience than I had at the time. And then still, his audience is still bigger than me. And when I say audience, I mean subscribers.
Right.
Our conversation, because I understand packaging.
112,000. Even though he has way more followers, way more subscribers.
Correct.
Yours is packaged correctly.
It's packaged correctly. So we talked about the title. In this case, this was how to sell your knowledge and make more money online in 2024. And then the thumbnail is the second part. I like to say that the title is for the algorithm. The thumbnail is for the audience.
Do they have to be connected?
They should complement each other. So when I say connected, like most people just put exactly what their title is in their thumbnail. No, it needs to complement your thumbnail, but this should speak to the individual that's gonna click on your video. So that's how you get a person. You want a person to start consuming your video before they click on it. And you do that by having them wonder, maybe they ask themselves a question, or it's like, oh yeah, I never wanna worry about money again. So like, so this is this is the science and art of YouTube. Now, the next part is the intro. Okay. So the reason why I want to show you Myron's intro is because we didn't edit it at all. Okay. It just starts. But I'm gonna tell you why it worked so well.
Did you not edit it did you just start it intentionally, or like did you run out of time and you just didn't have time to?
So we just started the conversation, and I try to fight for 3 elements in every intro that we do, and those elements are clarity, meaning that if you clicked on a video that's how to become a millionaire in 2025, you need to hear something along those lines within the first 30 seconds. So people know that they're in the right place.
Got it. So that's why you craft the conversation the title first.
Yes.
So that in the intro, you can give them a piece of it.
Exactly.
Dang, I think I was doing this all wrong.
Yeah, so clarity, then credibility. So sometimes you might have somebody and credibility is like anything. Like in this case, the credibility was, I was like, what better person to have this conversation than somebody who makes millionaires for a living? And I just said that naturally now. And I said, by the way, Myron, thank you for making me a millionaire. So all this is happening before a minute happens. So that's bringing credibility. And then the last thing is comprehension. So comprehension is, can somebody get something out of this intro? Like it's almost like you're giving something away up front. Like, and so when I say comprehension, the viewer should get something. So a lot of people just like drag and I learned this from you, bro. Most amateur podcasters are like, so tell us your story. Don't start that way because nobody cares about them. They care about themselves. So the comprehension that starts in right away is, so why do people have a hard time making $1 million? So that's
your first question.
That's the first question. And then we get into it. Now there's so much, obviously I'm leaving up to the expert or the person I'm asking the question, but there are times where I will do what I like to call a solo podcast. And I implement all these principles, right? Like we just want to make sure that the conversation has these things, and then just go for it. I like to see my conversations like a course. Courses answer the who, what, where, when, why of a thing. So you want your conversations to unpack those things, you know? And so that's how you crush it on YouTube, bro. And I don't upload shorts on my YouTube channel. I upload one video. Like this is just crazy. I literally upload one video a week on YouTube, and I've been doing that for about 18 months, and it hasn't been perfect. But yes, in the last 28 days, and then this is a stat that people would love if you're in business. At the last 48 hours, I was at church yesterday. And then today we're doing this. Yeah. I'm not working on my YouTube channel right now.
Right.
And 22,000 people have consumed my content. And my videos are an hour long. So on average, people are spending 15 to 20 minutes with me. That's 22,000 people that spent about 15 minutes with me.
Bro.
On average.
This is you've really broke down the science behind it.
Yes.
Not just creating good content.
It's an art and science. And I hope that what's the number one ingredient is intentionality. Just be intentional. If you're just turning on a camera and you're just turning on mics, then you're already going into it without, like, why, if you want somebody's, oh dang, this is a bar right here. If you want somebody's attention, they need your intention.
All right, that incredible. What I think I'm most impressed by, and one, you've been doing this for a very, very long time, but the way you make something look so beautiful. And actually, when I came into the studio, I thought it was going to be like lights hanging from the ceiling and like expensive, like super expensive stuff, but it's like a room, bro.
Just a room.
It's just a room.
Yeah, man, I'm all about the minimal approach to, if you have any obstacle in your way, the chances are it'll be less likely for you to do the action you need to do repeatedly. So a question I always ask myself, this is just like, I don't know if it's my personality, but is how can we do less without compromising quality? And sometimes it's also how can we do more without compromising quality? But I'm always a fan. I'm always optimizing in order to just get to the essence of something. I don't know if that's just my personality, but let's, dude, whatever you want to know about this set, the studio.
I'm going there first. What makes this room not a regular room, something I had to understand, are these, and people think it's just something on the wall. So can you explain with this? And you got it in the ceiling. I know you guys can see that. You got them in the ceiling. Let's explain this.
Yeah, so this is what you call sound treatment, right? I like to, the reason why you want to prioritize audio and put your money toward audio is because audio creates intimacy with your viewer. If there's something distracting somebody from consuming your content, like one of the worst things you can do is make somebody work to consume your content.
Yeah.
That's why you click off.
Yeah.
So when I walked into this space, which is an open 850,000 square feet of, concrete and wall, it was an echo chamber. And so I wanted to bring down the echo. And the way we did that was custom ordering these sound panels, which each spot that they're hanging in. So I have them along the walls around. And if you ever get sound treatment like this, you want them at the level you're talking at.
Yeah.
You don't want them too high or too low. And then we got some hanging on the roof because, sound is bouncing. That's what it's doing.
The ceiling.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
so every time audio waves hit a hard object, it bounces and comes back, and that's where we get echoing.
All right, so let's get into some gear. Let's
Yeah.
get into some gear. What are we shooting with today?
So I've been using, literally, I've never used a camera setup for so long without the feeling that I need to upgrade. So that's why I love recommending this camera. So the camera I've been using is the Sony FX30, which is a beautiful camera because it has internal fans. It'll never overheat on you. So if you're doing long form like podcasting, you don't have to worry about that. And then I pair it, like the secret to the shot, and we'll talk about the lighting, but it really is the lens you use. The reason why my shot looks like butter is because I'm using the Sigma 56mm lens.
Sigma 56mm. I actually use the same camera. Yeah. So you're using the Sigma 56mm. What am I? I think I'm using 30.
So yeah, you're 30, which means it's not as compressed.
Right.
Now, this works really well in this space because there's distance created. And this is why I got an open room. Most people will put up their furniture up against a wall and it doesn't create separation, or it's hard to get like a dynamic shot going. So
what do you mean they put it against the wall?
Yeah, you ever see
saying
podcasts?
The chairs.
Yeah, they'll put the chairs up against the wall, and it doesn't. At that point, it's no longer. Yeah, you can't have background blur if you're right up against the background.
Got it.
Yeah,
Can we show an example of what that looks like, even with these cameras, to show what it looks like closer to the wall, and then?
Yeah, great. So for instance, Art, you're filming me. So if Art zoomed or just was right there, this isn't as dynamic of a shot because I'm right up against the wall. And you go to a podcast studio, most of the time they're right up against the wall like this, right? Okay, now, and I'm literally I'm gonna have you go over here, Art. I'm gonna swap over this chair. And now I want you to zoom in a little bit. I can back up if you want me to. Yeah.
And all the stuff is blurry in the back.
Wait, so which one would you prefer?
That one, for sure.
So
the other one just looks so flat and plain. It's not flattering.
Yeah. So now shoot wherever you have the space. But this is why I initially signed the lease here, is because I knew if I can get if I could put the people in the middle of the room. Okay, here's the bar. You ready for it?
Talk to me.
Okay. Instead of putting the chairs against the wall or the seats against the wall, put the cameras against the wall. And put the people in the middle of the room. So that way, because nobody needs to know what's behind the camera, So hypothetically, if you could put cameras up against the wall and you could bring the people from the wall, you can create more of a dynamic shot.
Bro, this is insane, because I'm actually thinking about all the errors that I'm making in my own studio, which is crazy.
Yeah, there you go.
This is a masterclass right now. Okay, all right. In my studio, I have the chairs, and so it's like the wall, and then I got some stuff. It's like a little bookshelf.
Yep.
But my chair is about here.
Right.
And then my cameras are in the middle of the room. But what you're saying is just move my cameras back to the wall, move my chair up, and then let the back wall be more.
Now,
this is good.
Yeah. So now I will say there's a pro and con to every setup, right? The pro is this looks great with what you see. This looks great with how far the camera is, how the background. The con is that these don't zoom. So
that particular lens doesn't zoom.
It doesn't zoom, but this is why it's called a prime lens.
Okay.
And this is why it gives such a great blurry background. And so I would, if you want the versatility to zoom in and out, just get a zoom lens.
But those don't typically have the
low aperture. So
right?
right now this is at 1.4, and your people can just put up an example of what it really looks like, and like the background is gone. It's like it's literal butter. Yeah. And I love. My thing is like, dude, can we show this? Yeah, if I could be the.
Sit down.
If I could, sit down. I'll set up the shot real quick. I'll hit record on this too. All right, so you're sitting down. It's a little bit low, so I'm gonna bring up the camera real quick. And I even have to crank this a little bit just in order to. But this looks really good. So you would typically look at me, and we could move it a little bit closer. But that's the only way to change the shot is you got to like move the camera itself.
Got it.
So that's the con to the setup. But with the flexibility and that the spot being dedicated to be used for the podcast, I'm like, it's fine.
Got it. Because typically if you're gonna have a setup, if you're gonna have your own studio, you're gonna have a setup that's pretty much gonna be static for the most part,
exactly.
Right?
So that's what this is great for. This is a very great static setup. But hey, actually, I take that back. Dude, we take this on the road because it's so lean and mean.
For sure. But you know how to set it back up, so.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So FX30, 56 millimeter. If you need more width, then you can get the 30 millimeter.
Yeah.
If you want a medium wide shot, because I used to do a third angle, we actually took that away. And we can talk about why.
I don't use that either.
Here's why we took away the wide angle. We took away the wide angle because when you're cutting up a social clip, like a vertical, based on who's talking, that angle always has to be adjusted.
Yeah.
And it just added so all that to say, we just do two angles. So this is the exact same setup as on the other side. And so you're probably wondering, somebody's probably wondering like, well, okay, what's this whole contraption being plugged into the camera right now? So if you see this studio, which you get in a wide shot of the studio, Sean, there are no cables on the ground. So
I have a mess in my studio, bro, because I have the dummy batteries batteries.
Yeah, with the continuous power adapter or whatever.
For sure.
But which is fine.
It's not fine.
Okay, it's not fine.
We're tripping over wires.
Yeah.
I trip over the wires, then I know they're there. It's crazy.
Okay. But my thing is with this is if you have a continuous power adapter and you make it clean, cool, you'll never have to worry about the battery dying. Yeah. So what we do is we get this is what you call a V-mount battery.
V-mount battery.
It's essentially like a power
small
brick.
rig.
Yeah, and every brand has them, but this allows you to get hours. I've never had to worry about this dying in a full day of using it. And so here's what's really cool about the FX30. This is besides the fact if you want to shoot reels, you could put like a quick release plate here. So if we wanted to shoot reels, we can just slide it in and lock it in.
I was actually wondering what that was.
Yeah.
So that's called a quick release plate, and it just screws into the other side.
Yeah, and so you don't have to
You can shoot it.
You don't have to just keep screwing. So there's a plate, and then if you want it, if we're doing the podcast, cool.
Can you turn that real quick, because I want the audience to see what we're seeing.
Yep. So we'll go like this. So and if you wanted to just shoot reels, like dedicated reels.
Okay.
Yep.
Over here. So when you're creating content, let's say for instance you're running, shooting ads or just some Instagram or TikTok content.
Yep.
You just turn the camera instead of having to zoom in.
Right.
Or crop it in.
Yeah. So my thing with knowing when to flip the camera, it's you want to ask yourself the question, where is this piece of content going first? So if I know I'm going to post this just on Instagram or just on TikTok or something like that, or just YouTube Shorts, then you could film this way. If you're unsure, then of course go horizontal if you're unsure. But that's what it's just another cool thing that I love about the FX30s because they build in screws, and so you don't have to buy an extra cage. But that's literally, bro, that's the camera setup.
Yeah.
It's very lean and it's clean. You don't have to worry about too much. And then
we can get all this stuff on Amazon, right? I have the links below.
Are they your links or my links?
My links, bro. Okay. What do you mean?
So if you buy this camera off his link, he'll make $60.
$60?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, let's go.
4%. Yeah, total. Let's go. So this is about 1,800. This is like 400. And then tripods, you can add another 200. So yeah, for this camera.
How much for the battery?
I mean, I think these are like $100.
Really?
Yeah. But what I love about this though, I will say what's cool about the FX30 is you could buy this with a top handle that has the XLR inputs.
You got one of those?
I do. Let me go grab it.
That's right here, isn't it? Isn't that it?
That is like it. Let me grab it real quick. And so what you can do is and what I used to do is I used to plug straight into the camera.
Yeah.
Which for most people, I actually think you should just do it.
Yeah.
Because I'll talk about the workflow, but because I have somebody that works on the team, he can put things together. But for most people, if you're just like filming yourself and you don't want anybody, just get the FX30 with the top handle and plug your podcast mic with the angle that it's facing, and then you'll have good audio with that video file.
Got it.
You won't have to sync it in post or make it match.
Got it.
So that's what this is.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's the camera setup.
Okay. All right. Let's go lights, bro.
Let's go lights. So these are Ulanzi cob lights.
Cob lights.
Cob light. So I guess Art, if you come this way, you'll see this light over here, which I'll break down each light, but this is what you call a panel light, right? So that's a panel light. And then we have another light over there, which I'll break down. But this is what you call a cob light. And it has this modifier, which you would call a lantern softbox.
Right.
So this cob light, what's beautiful about it is it's very quiet, and it puts out a large light that's nice and soft. The reason why my podcast looks, what did you say, beautiful?
Yeah.
Is that the word you use?
Bro.
Okay, thank you.
It's beautiful. Buttery. Silky.
Is because of this modifier, I believe. And there's different ones. People have bought in like the octagon or whatever. I like this because it's forgiving. Aim it in the general vicinity of a person's face and you should be all right.
Gotcha.
So for most people, it's great. What's cool about this one in particular is it also takes those V-mount batteries.
Yeah.
So again, no cables.
Yeah,
now, if we want cables, we can put some.
Yeah.
Which, if you have I want to encourage you, if you're gonna do stuff like I'm doing, just have a system. Just know that when we leave the studio, we put these on chargers so that the next day we can just run it. So yeah, that's the setup. And I know this is pretty funky.
Yeah.
So that's
heavy duty right there.
Yeah, this is that's like $100 light stand with wheels.
$100?
Yes, just this part. And then this is like an additional 100.
Okay, gotcha.
So let me talk about why I don't just have the light on this part, which most people, that's what they would do. Like, if you can get the light close to a person, obviously, if we had it on here, we'd have to bring it a lot closer and it might get in the shot. So you can get away with just doing that, but obviously I wanted to, level it up, and I didn't want to mount it on the ceiling.
Right.
So what this allows us to do is it allows us to get the light over the person or at the person's face without this having to be so close. So that's all that this does. And then when I use this studio for workshops and things like that. Shout out to you too, by the way. People need to know this.
Okay.
But you were before I launched my podcast, we shot an episode before I had it.
Yes.
Which I encourage people to do. Get like 4 under your belt before you launch your podcast. And on the conversation, I was like, yeah, dude, I want to use this space to do workshops, but I'm afraid to. And you were like, why are you afraid? I was like, cause I don't know what to talk about. He's like, what do you talk about online? And I told him, I talk about this stuff. He's like, why don't you just talk about that stuff, but just in person?
Yeah.
And that conversation pushed me to do workshops and like masterminds in here. Wow. And we just got done with our 8th one. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Love it, man.
Making me
love it. Execution, baby.
That's right.
Yes.
Dude, it doesn't matter if you have a good idea.
Bro,
you want to execute.
The student becomes the teacher. I'm learning so much. Bro, you have no idea. For one, my lights are in the ceiling and they shoot down. I'm like, dang, I need to get this and start putting it together. My chairs are too close to the background. I got cords everywhere, bro. Like you're giving me a masterclass.
Great.
I don't even know if they're getting value, but this is
okay. Good. I mean, I imagine if you're getting value, then they're getting 100%. Value. So yeah.
I did notice this though. The lights are. Where do you normally sit? You sit on this side, right?
Either side.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You don't have a specific side you sit on?
I don't. I actually wanted to. I like switching it up. Not to mention, we rotate this setup 3 different ways. So I've done podcasts where we shoot this way. I've done podcasts where we shoot. When we were here, we shot it this way. So yeah, I mean, I like switching it up because I like the variety.
Regularly, or you just every now and again you get tired of a shot and you just switch it up?
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Or you come in here and say, with this particular guest, you know what I mean? I think we'll do it against the fireplace, like that.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty dope. But I did notice,
Yep.
it's the lights are very close.
Yes. I actually want it closer.
Really?
Yeah,
Why not have it higher?
Because when they're higher and further, the harsher you're blasting them. Now, it does spread it out, which is fine, but getting it close and soft is just how I create the shot. Cinematic lighting is just that. It's large, soft lighting. And it's hard to get soft unless, I don't know if you've seen like people who have like these sheets in the sky and they're shooting lights through the sheets, or on a movie set, they'll like rig up a screen and then they'll shoot a powerful light through the screen. But that screen, depending on the shot they're trying to create, is how they're achieving that. So that's essentially what I'm doing just in the podcast setting.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so you got a light here, which I thought would be in the shot. Is it in the shot or?
No, because I don't have a center angle.
You don't have a center angle?
Yeah, so I don't have a center angle because when we cut up clips, we don't want to have to edit that angle every time it shows somebody who's talking. So it makes the syndication or the distribution of the short form from the podcast a lot easier.
Got it. But why is that back there?
But why is it back there? So it can actually create a separation for us. In Hollywood, they call it a hair light or a practical light, or an accent light or a motivated light. So that was the key light. This guy's the key light.
Key light, main light.
Main light. And I do want to, let's just, for whatever it's worth, if Art's shooting that mic, it would be a lot easier if you could see, if you were wearing black too. Right. Sometimes people wear black. But yeah, I'll just shut this off. And it to most people, they'll be like, that does nothing. But for me, it adds a separation on the mic itself. And then if you're wearing black, it pulls you from the background. Oh,
so it's some light that's separated, so it's not, if I was wearing black, it could look like it's right on my shirt.
Yeah.
But what does it create,
it just puts a line on the mic. I know it sounds silly, but that's what it's doing.
But I think it's these little things that make your content look so much better than everybody else's.
Yeah, like, cause I could watch, I think what it'll do is it'll make the shot look flat if I turned off this light, and then if I turned off this light over here.
And you put the light behind the Karate Kid little...
Yeah. So it probably looks fine because the camera looks good and it's a good key light. I think at bare minimum, this is what people need, right? And if you want to put a lamp back here, the lamp will kind of do the same thing that this is doing.
Got it.
But by simply, so this is like a dark abyss right now, probably seeing from Art's angle. But just by turning this on, it just adds a little bit of life to the background.
And also, we cracked the bathroom door.
Yeah, this is very intentional.
Hold on, what?
You see this bathroom door back here?
Yeah.
So we cracked this, and it's funny, and so there's a very warm light in there, but this creates a cool dynamic too in the background. Yeah.
Does it look like a bathroom door? I can't see it right now.
No, I mean, all you see
is it just looks like a part of the aesthetic.
Yeah, correct.
That's hard, bro.
Yeah.
It's these little things, bro. Like crack the bathroom doors to let that brown light like that.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
Yeah, so one tip I have with lighting is anytime you light your face, you want daytime temperature, AKA what you see right here.
Okay.
Right? The key light is daytime temperature. Any light in the back, whether you do a colored light or a warm light, is free play. You can do whatever you want.
Got it.
Yeah, so that's why it looks fine. But if I had a light that color hitting your face, it wouldn't. It would look dingy and weird, and your skin tones would be jacked up. The mics we use, which I like to say, like, just buy it once, right? If you buy the Shure SM7Bs, you only have to buy that once, unless you drop it and break it.
Yeah.
But these are the SM7DBs. So these are the newer versions that you don't need that additional, preamp thing. There's a preamp built in.
You don't need a cloud lifter.
You don't need a cloud lifter.
Oh.
So it's already built into this mic. So we have this mic on these Rode PSA arms. And then, like I mentioned, I used to go directly into the cameras, but now I'm going into this Zoom device. So this is the Zoom H6 Essential. And let me tell you why this is a dope device. Number one, it's very affordable. Like it's like $180.
Nice.
You could plug it up to 4 mics. And what I love about this is you don't have to monitor audio.
Yeah.
No one needs to be, because it captures what is called 32-bit audio files. So it's just a raw audio file, and there's no such thing as talking too loud or talking too low. It's capturing it all.
Oh, wow.
So I don't have to think. That's the goal. The goal is like, can we hit record on the camera and not have to worry about overheating? Sure. Can we hit record on this and not worry about it peaking or being too low, and then we have to crank it up and it doesn't sound that good? So a lot of people will buy that Rodecaster thing, and it's just like this. It's like a computer.
Yeah, right.
If all we have to do is record audio, then run it. And what's cool about this is you can also plug it into a computer and then use it as like a USB interface.
Right.
And then another feature of another V mount, and that's just powering it just in case. It does run by battery, but we just want to make sure that it doesn't die. So that's the mic setup. Dude, that's literally, this podcast setup has made me a millionaire.
Let's have a conversation. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll hit record on these.
All right. So, I mean, we see, how amazing this content is. We obviously see that you have incredible content, right? But I want to know, from a podcasting standpoint, how have you developed as a person? Because, I mean, somebody that gets a chance to have a conversation on a regular basis, you start to develop some skills and understand things about people, right?
Yeah.
So I want to know, how have you improved your life?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is just having a front row seat to put your curiosity on display. I'm finding that curiosity is a superpower, and just being able to learn from what other people are legit doing. So all I'll say is it's made me a better student. I have a kind of like a goal when I have an expert on the podcast or somebody that's good at doing something. And my role is to be the audience advocate. And it's also for me to, like you say, get free coaching.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
It's maybe better because I've gotten free coaching because I'll bring my legit circumstance to the table. Like when Russell Brunson, I was interviewing him and he was giving me an example and he's like, let's just say you're a fitness coach. I was like, no, let's just say you're a content coach. And then things like that,
Right.
It's made me better even in the sense of relationally. What people don't realize is one reason to start a podcast is to connect with somebody and have a platform where you can share information. But another reason to start a podcast is the conversations after the podcast.
Yeah.
When the cameras are off and the mics are off, and then you just actually are networking and talking. So like people that I've been able to interview have become friends.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And then I have the conversations where I am just me and Art. I call him solo podcast. So Art's my video guy. Art.mp4 is like I like to call him.
Art.
Yeah.
He's here.
Yeah. And so he becomes the audience advocate. So I even teach people, if you think about starting a solo podcast, do one, but have somebody to stop you in your track, to just be like, hey, what about this situation?
So Art will interview you, essentially.
Well, I'll come with the information,
Right.
and it's almost like I'm delivering it kind of talking head, but conversational, and he'll just be the audience advocate.
Got it.
Yeah, he'll be like, well, you say just record everything you're doing, but what if you work a full-time job?
Yeah.
Like, okay, in that moment, and people appreciate, that's how you create bulletproof content, is you let people ask questions that aren't in the room. Something I've been doing too is I've been inviting my inner circle to be on the while we're filming it live, something you do.
Yeah.
And when you do questions after the fact based on the conversation we just had, it bulletproofs that conversation even more. And that's the goal. The goal is to put out the best conversation around a thing. But yeah, I don't know if that's answering your question.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's maybe better, as far as connecting with the audience too. We put out a conversation on how to, grow on YouTube this year. That was at the beginning of the year. And I mentioned something in the podcast, like, if you want to monetize your YouTube channel without waiting for Google to do it, just sponsor your own videos. And then we moved on. And there was like 5 comments of people being like, you said sponsor your own videos. What does that even mean? And I didn't realize that it's not as literal as it sounds. Yeah. People are like, unpack that. Dude, I ended up making a video just on monetizing your YouTube videos. So the podcast was called, your channel will be monetized after this video. And
that's a strong hook, bro.
Yeah. And so I I then talk about how to sponsor your own videos and how to conduct an ad read and how to do it without sounding salesy. And that video got more views than the YouTube video.
Man.
And so, yeah, what is it? It's just allowing me to connect more and really understand the people that, you know, that we're serving with the podcast, which when you start a podcast, you're just like very internal about it. Yeah. And then over time, you're like, oh, this is the people that are finding it, you know? And so.
That's incredible, bro. So what are all the ways that you can think of that you're monetizing the podcast?
All the ways that I could think of, I guess, number one, the easy one is, I like to say, is I've been from day one sponsoring my own podcast. Mm-hmm. And whether you sponsor it with a lead magnet or an actual, like I believe like a low ticket offer is an easy one. You can build your email list and even just start getting, you know, customers off your podcast. So that would be number one, would be that. I started with a lead magnet and that grew my email list by 10,000 people in a short amount of time. And then I did my challenge ad where it's just, hey, if this is what you're looking to do and you want to see how it could be done for you or with you or whatever, join my challenge. And that's a $100 thing that, you know, there's other tiers. The next way is through affiliates. Mm-hmm. So one of the best affiliate performing videos, I had a conversation with a guy named Rory Vaden, and that conversation, because he gave me a special link and I put it in my description, you know, I think I made 10 grand so far, which means he made 100 grand off of one conversation.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, wild. So like I was going to sit down and talk with you anyway, so I might as well make an extra 10K. So that's affiliates. I would say in the year of 2024, I mean, at least 60K in just affiliates. The next thing is
60K in just affiliates, bro.
Yeah, that was like,
I remember I used to make $40,000 and I had to work the whole year.
Right.
And I had to work the whole week.
Crazy.
Every week of the year to make 40,000.
Yep.
And you get to sit here and have conversations with people to make an extra 60,000.
Right.
Insane.
Recently signed a brand deal with Ulanzi.
How'd you get that?
I was ready to like just prove the concept that you could use your YouTube channel to build your business, but also if you have an audience, there are other businesses that will just pay you to get in front of that audience. Yeah. And if you align with them, then like do something together. So the lights that we use, the tripods we use, the V-mount that we use, or one of the V-mount batteries we use are Ulanzi. I've been using Ulanzi for years. Wow. And so we did like a 24, I'm also creating content for their YouTube channel. So it's kind of like, what do you call it? UGC, user generated content. But that was an 80K brand deal for 24 ad reads. And then I'll make 24 kind of like breakdown videos.
80 grand.
Yeah. Just cause now, yeah. And I literally, I have a DM right now from a guy who DM'd me this morning and said, hey, we love what you're doing. Let's talk about sponsoring your podcast. So, and I align with this guy and his software company. So that might be an additional, and this is just additional. This isn't the main income to my business aren't these streams right now. These are just bonus for doing it the right way.
Man.
And so there's that. The Google AdSense last year, we made about 60K in Google AdSense. And already this year we're at like 30 already. So this year should be more. Yeah, and there's not to mention that like when people work with me at a deeper level, ultimately it's, I mean, like I don't charge cheap prices to work with me. I charge 20 grand to work with me for a year. So that works out really well too. And here's my thing. I'm a content coach. I coach entrepreneurs to help build their personal brands on platforms like YouTube and Instagram. Yeah. And by me doing the work, it keeps me fresh.
Yeah.
And so when you ask me like, what's something that podcast has done for you? It's made me better at communicating. It's made me better at teaching what my discoveries are because it's giving me discovery. And like, don't follow a coach who isn't actually doing the thing that they're telling you to do.
For sure.
So I'm probably missing so many others, but I mean, that's the easy way. Yeah. Affiliates, my own offers, Google, brand deals and sponsorships. Oh, dude. I've had 2 people pay me to be on the podcast.
Pay you to be on their podcast?
No. Pay you to be on your podcast.
Oh.
And if there is value alignment and I'm okay with them, like I vet them hard. I've been offered a ton, but
Yeah.
I've taken 2 so far at 17.5. So, and I came to that number when I realized I knew somebody that wasn't getting as many views and engagement as I did, and they were charging 25. I was like, my stuff is way nicer.
Yeah, for sure.
And so yeah, that's been 2. I guess with 2 of those, yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool too.
Moral of the story, you're killing it, bro. Moral of the story, it was a great idea to start a podcast.
It was the best idea to start a podcast.
And it's so cool because you were actually working for Think for a while. Shouts out to Sean, man.
Yeah.
Brilliant individual. And I've learned so much from him too. And I like a partnership, but like you branched off and started your own thing, and I know that had to be scary. You know
For sure. I mean? But it's wild because even signing the lease on this place, I was scared.
How much was it?
I mean, it's like you look back now, but it's like $2,200 a month, but it was a 3-year lease.
Yeah.
And that was double my mortgage. Or like when you consider like the internet's like $300 here. I'm like, why? Because it's corporate internet. I'm like, okay, I didn't know corporate internet's 10x. But yeah, I was telling my wife, I was like, what if we just got a baller house and made a studio downstairs? But dude, I'm so glad I did this scared and I signed the lease.
Yeah.
Dude, I think about Alex Shamozi's been here. Lewis Howes has been here. David Shands has been here. Chris Bumstead, the 6-time Olympian.
Wow.
Chris Doe, Neil Patel, all the dudes, Neo's been here. Myron's been here. I mean, when I think about like all the opportunity that taking that step of faith has created, I'm like, my goodness, like what if I did not do that?
Yeah.
And there's something about like legitimizing yourself and getting a space like this does. And I had intentions when I signed the lease, but like I didn't know where I'd be now 2.5 years later. Because in my mind I was like, yeah, we're gonna rent this space out, and we did, but that renting the space out started to get in the way of the business. And so that's why I'm excited. We've outgrown this, and I'm excited to level up. I'm trying to become like you. Little creator clubhouse in Vegas, you know what I'm saying?
Man, we need to do that for sure, man. But thank you so much, bro. This was an experience for me. I'm telling you, just full transparency. I learned so much, and as you're talking, I'm ready to go retool my whole studio, my whole podcast, the way I approach it. Last question. What's the title of this video?
The title of this video?
Or the thumbnail. Give me one. We'll go on Google, but what's the title?
I think video podcast studio tour. And it's like, in parentheses, could be like crispy and clean. And then the thumbnail could say like 0 cables or something like that,
I like that. I like that.
Or that's one angle.
Yeah.
Because we kind of started it with that stuff when we were sitting down. It could be, it could be the monetized angle.
Yeah.
How to monetize your podcast or YouTube channel, or how to grow your.
So like 16,000 a month from YouTube, something like that.
Yeah, or 6-figure podcast too. Like that's one way. So these are all things. It kind of does matter how the intro starts. The intro shouldn't just start with the phone call thing.
Got it.
There should be, based on the intro that you decide on, there should be a little bit of a coming up.
So should I do talking head and say?
You could do that too, like shooting a direct to camera and being like, podcasting is one of the biggest opportunities for creators and small business owners. And if you are in that journey, this is a full-on masterclass. And then somebody can be like, okay, I'm not going to waste my time here. Yeah. And this was a full-on masterclass
for sure. So
it could be how to build a 6-figure podcast, and then in parentheses is whatever the time is. You can do 63-minute masterclass. And then the thumbnail could be, podcasting made me a millionaire. Or that part, or the one right there. You want to make sure maybe that you front load that part. That's an 80-20 rule. Spend 80% on the packaging of your video, and then the rest just like this was this fairly easy, like to conduct this? Okay, so that the 20% is done. Now, the energy, the 80% should go into the packaging.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Oh, appreciate you, my brother. I'm about to take this back. And last thing. Will you be speaking at Podcast Summit this year? Podcast Summit 2025?
This will be my third time speaking at Podcast Summit.
Bro, I feel like I can't have Podcast Summit without you there. And I think your fandom gets more and more every single year.
It's kind of crazy. Praise God, bro. Yeah, no, it's a cool experience. Honestly, the Podcast Summit, I think because you literally cover everything.
Yeah.
It's almost like don't do that. Whatever you're planning on doing, if you want to start a podcast, and it doesn't include Podcast Summit, because there's gear is covered, monetization, back-end business, optimization, brand deals and sponsorships, business structure. I remember Donnie, she like broke down like LLCs and all that stuff. I'm like, dude, this is what I'm talking about, bro. Yeah, no, it was.
So you were listening to the sessions too?
100. I'm a student, bro. I ain't trying to. I literally just. You gave me the game plan. I just ran the play.
Man,
yeah, I appreciate you.
I'm so proud of you, brother, and I'm so grateful for you at the same time because, again, I am learning from your mastery, man. So thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Listen, man, get your tickets to Podcast Summit 2025, podcastsummit.com. If you're watching this in 2026, just get your tickets to Podcast Summit 2026, okay? Because we're doing this every single year. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So click the link below. We will set up a promo code. Summit, maybe. Let's actually do PS25. Promo code PS25. We'll give you a special discount off of the already discounted tickets. All right, so we're out of here. I'll see you in August. Peace.